If the Los Angeles Lakers are truly aiming for a championship next season, they might have to face a decision that could shake the foundation of their current roster. That decision, letting go of one of their most beloved young players, Austin Reaves. Now, on the surface, this may sound drastic. Reaves has become a fan favorite in Los Angeles. He's known for his hustle, his clutch moments, and his chemistry with LeBron James. He represents the kind of underdog story that fans love to root for, an undrafted player who worked his way up and earned his spot. But as the Lakers look ahead, the hard truth is beginning to settle in. Sentimentality might need to take a back seat to strategy. Let's rewind for a moment. When the Lakers pulled off the blockbuster trade for Luka Doncic, the expectations skyrocketed. Adding a generational offensive talent like Doncic to a core led by LeBron James was supposed to launch the Lakers into serious title contention. Luka was brought in to lighten the scoring load, to carry the offense during dry stretches, and to create a deadly 1-2 punch alongside the King. But what actually happened? Instead of cruising through the Western Conference, the Lakers were bounced out of the playoffs in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not only were they beaten, they were exposed. Minnesota went after Luka on nearly every possession, forcing switches and relentlessly attacking his side of the court. The Lakers, who had hoped their offense would overpower opponents, were undone by their lack of defense. And Austin Reaves didn't help much either. The postseason was supposed to be his moment to shine, step up, and show that he could be a reliable scoring option in the playoffs. Instead, he disappeared. His shot wasn't falling. His decision-making faltered. In some games, you could barely feel his presence on the floor. For a team that needed every weapon firing, Reaves simply didn't deliver. Now, let's be clear. This isn't an attack on Reaves as a player. He's talented, he's hardworking, and on the right team, he could be a valuable piece. But for this Lakers team with this construction, the priorities are shifting. According to Bleacher Report, the Lakers would be better off with a stronger defensive presence in the starting five than with Reaves' offensive contributions. And when you take a hard look at the current roster, it's hard to argue with that. LeBron James, at this stage of his career, isn't the elite defender he once was. Luka Doncic, despite his brilliance on offense, has never shown consistent effort on the defensive end. Jackson Hayes, the team's primary center, struggles to protect the rim, and Reaves, while scrappy, isn't a lockdown defender by any means. That means 4 of the 5 Lakers starters are either average or below average on defense. In today's NBA, where perimeter defense and rim protection are more crucial than ever, that's a recipe for disaster, and Minnesota proved it. So where does that leave the Lakers? They need help defensively, desperately. They either need to bring in a tough perimeter defender who can take pressure off Luka and LeBron, or they need a shot-blocking big who can anchor the paint. The problem, they don't have a lot of trade assets left. Their best option to make a meaningful move might be Austin Reaves. Reaves is on a team-friendly contract, and that alone makes him attractive to front offices across the league. He's young, he's proven he can contribute, and he has potential to grow. If the Lakers put him on the table, they could generate a strong market and potentially get back a player who fills a major need on the defensive end. Of course, there's another path. The Lakers could decide to keep Reaves and instead try to find a rim-protecting center in free agency. But here's the catch. There just aren't many impact big men hitting the market this summer. The options are limited, and the Lakers don't have a lot of cap flexibility. Waiting for the perfect piece to fall into their lap could mean wasting another year of LeBron's career and potentially losing ground in a hyper-competitive Western Conference. That's why this decision is so critical. Letting go of Reaves wouldn't be easy. It would sting, not just for the front office, but for the fans who've embraced him. But the Lakers aren't in this to be sentimental. They're in it to win championships. And if trading Reaves helps them build a more balanced, playoff-ready roster, then it's a move they'll have to seriously consider, because when the playoffs come around again, they can't afford to be the team getting exposed on defense. They can't afford another early exit, and they can't afford to waste the remaining greatness of LeBron James. So here we are, at a crossroads. Austin Reaves represents heart, hustle, and potential. But he also represents one of the Lakers' few remaining paths to real improvement. The front office now faces a question that could define their entire offseason. Is keeping Reaves worth another year of the same struggles? Or is it time to make the bold move? The uncomfortable, unpopular, but necessary move that could finally push this team over the top? Only time will tell. The Los Angeles Lakers are entering a pivotal offseason, one that could define the future of the franchise for years to come. And at the center of all this uncertainty stands one man, LeBron James. Now approaching what would be his 23rd NBA season, LeBron has yet to announce his intentions. Will he return for another chapter in his legendary career, or will he finally decide to hang it up after more than 2 decades at the top? At 40 years old, you'd think the clock would be winding down, but with LeBron, things are never that simple. Despite his age, he's still producing at an elite level. He's still making highlight plays, leading teams, and putting up numbers that players half his age would envy. But here's where it gets tricky, because as of right now, LeBron hasn't made anything official. No statement, no announcement, not even a subtle hint on social media. What we do know is that he holds a $52.6 million player option for the upcoming season. That gives him the power to decide whether he stays under his current deal or opts out and tests the market. Now, most insiders believe he's not going anywhere, not because he's lacking options, but because the Lakers are still his best shot at competing for a title if they can build the right roster around him. And that's where things get even more complicated. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report recently offered his take on how this might play out. In his prediction, Buckley sees LeBron declining his player option, not to leave LA, but to renegotiate. The idea is that he'll sign a new 2-year deal worth around $105 million with a player option in the second season. That setup would give LeBron maximum flexibility. If he wants to retire next year, he can. If he wants to finish his career in Los Angeles, he has that option too. On the surface, that seems like a smart move, but it does put pressure on the Lakers. Last offseason, LeBron was reportedly open to taking a pay cut to help the front office sign key players. He sacrificed and waited, hoping the team would bring in additional star power or meaningful support. But those moves never came. The Lakers stood still, and in the end, they paid the price. The team failed to advance deep into the postseason, and the window for another title run continues to shrink. So this time, don't expect LeBron to make the same offer. According to multiple reports, he's not likely to give the Lakers another discount, not after they failed to deliver last year. That means Los Angeles will have to make some tough decisions. Can they pay LeBron top dollar and build a true contender around him, or will they need to sacrifice other pieces to make it work? In a recent episode of his podcast Mind the Game, which he co-hosts with JJ Redick, LeBron addressed the uncertainty directly. He said, "I haven't had the conversation with the family yet as far as me going forward, but we'll see what happens." That quote may sound non-committal, but it tells us a lot. LeBron isn't done. Not yet, but he's taking his time. He's weighing the options. He's talking to his family, looking at the roster, analyzing whether another run with the Lakers makes sense. And honestly, who could blame him? Let's not forget, LeBron is still one of the top 10 players in the league. Yes, even at 40, his basketball IQ is unmatched. His ability to impact a game on both ends of the court is still there. When he's healthy, he remains a dominant force, capable of scoring, facilitating, and defending at a high level. And here's the thing, he's not showing signs of slowing down. Not really. His minutes are being managed more carefully, sure. But the explosiveness, the passing, the leadership, it's all still there. That's a testament to his discipline, his dedication, and his relentless focus on longevity. So what's next? If LeBron does return, the Lakers will need to act fast. The Western Conference isn't waiting around. Teams like Denver, Minnesota, and Oklahoma City are getting stronger. If the Lakers want to keep pace, they'll need to add depth, defense, and shooting fast. And with LeBron commanding a max-level contract, every dollar will matter. The front office must walk a fine line. Re-sign LeBron on a deal that respects his legacy and still leaves room to improve the roster. Find veteran talent willing to contribute on value contracts. Make smart trades. Build around his strengths. Because if you're going to invest in year 23 of LeBron James, you better be going all in. This summer will be a defining moment, not just for LeBron, but for the entire Lakers organization. It's about legacy, it's about titles, and it's about giving one of the greatest players in history the supporting cast he needs to make one more push. The question now is simple. Will LeBron James return to the Lakers for one more ride? Or will this be the end of the road? Only time will tell, but until then, the basketball world holds its breath. A blockbuster trade between the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers is starting to get serious buzz, and if it happens, it could completely reshape the futures of both franchises. This is one of those potential deals that fans and analysts alike have been speculating about for a while, and now the pieces might finally be coming together. Let's break down what this trade could look like, what it means for each team, and why it could be a game changer. The proposed deal would have the Celtics sending over Kristaps Porzingis to the Lakers. For context, Porzingis was once the number 4 overall pick in the NBA draft and made an all-star appearance back in 2018. He's a player with serious talent, someone who can stretch the floor with his shooting and protect the rim with his size and length. But injuries have been a major factor in his career, and that's what has made this move a bit complicated for Boston to pull off. Porzingis is on an expiring contract worth about $30.7 million, which makes him a valuable trade asset. In exchange, Boston would receive 3 players: Maxi Kleber, Dalton Knecht, and Dorian Finney-Smith. This trio would bring a combination of shooting, defense, and depth to Boston's roster, while also giving them more financial flexibility heading into the offseason. However, this deal only works if Finney-Smith picks up his player option for $15.4 million, which many believe he will do given his value and role. Let's start with what the Lakers would be getting. Kristaps Porzingis, despite his injury history, remains one of the most intriguing big men in the league. When healthy, he's arguably the best stretch 5 in basketball, a player who can knock down threes at a high clip and offer rim protection on defense. His height and shooting ability would perfectly complement the playing styles of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Porzingis doesn't need to be the primary ball handler or scorer, which fits well with the star-heavy Lakers lineup. Instead, he can space the floor and guard multiple positions, adding a new dimension to the Lakers' offense and defense. For Los Angeles, this move addresses a critical roster need. The Lakers have struggled to find a reliable rim protector and consistent shooter in the front court since trading away some of their previous big men. Porzingis could fill that void, providing much-needed size and shooting around LeBron and Luka Doncic. The hope is that with Porzingis back in a familiar system, and with those 2 superstars on the floor, he can stay healthy and rediscover the form that once made him a star. Now, let's talk about Boston. Trading away Porzingis would be a tough pill to swallow for Celtics fans. He's been a key piece in their vision of building a championship contending roster, but Boston's front office has to consider the risks associated with Porzingis' injury history and whether those risks outweigh the potential reward. By making this trade, Boston would gain valuable depth and flexibility. Maxi Kleber is a stretch big man who can space the floor and provide solid minutes off the bench. Dorian Finney-Smith is known as one of the league's best 3-and-D wings, players who can defend multiple positions and knock down open threes. And Dalton Knecht brings sharpshooting and scoring ability, a perfect fit for Boston's system that thrives on three-point shooting and ball movement. This trio would not only help Boston balance their rotation, but also improve their bench production. Depth is crucial in the playoffs, and having players who can reliably contribute on both ends of the court can make a big difference when the competition heats up. Financially, this trade is attractive for both sides. Porzingis' expiring contract gives Boston room to maneuver under the salary cap. Meanwhile, the 3 incoming players have contracts that are either expiring or team-friendly, which gives Boston more flexibility to pursue free agents or extend key players. For the Lakers, acquiring Porzingis is a calculated risk. They give up Finney-Smith's elite two-way play and Knecht's potential upside, but the reward could be huge if Porzingis stays healthy and meshes well with the team's stars. It's a bold move aimed at maximizing their championship window, while LeBron James is still playing at an elite level and Luka Doncic is in his prime. One important thing to watch in this scenario is the relationship between Porzingis and Luka Doncic. They reportedly had some tension during their time together on the Dallas Mavericks, and how that dynamic plays out in Los Angeles could affect the success of the trade. However, professionals often put those things aside for the sake of winning, so there's hope that they can build chemistry and work together effectively. LeBron James, now approaching what would be his 23rd NBA season, remains a dominant force when healthy. Adding a player like Porzingis to the mix would give him and Luka Doncic the kind of support that could push the Lakers deep into the playoffs, and maybe even all the way to a championship. To sum up, this Celtics-Lakers trade idea is a win-win on paper. Boston gains depth, shooting, defense, and cap space. Los Angeles adds a talented, versatile big man who could be the perfect third star alongside LeBron and Luka Doncic. Both teams face tough decisions and risks, but that's the nature of making blockbuster trades in today's NBA. It's all about finding the right balance between talent, fit, health, and finances. If this deal goes through, it won't just be a headline-grabbing trade. It could redefine the landscape of the NBA, spark new rivalries, and create exciting basketball moments for fans everywhere. So keep an eye on this one as the offseason unfolds, because a move like this could change everything for both franchises.